this is what they, okay. The question was, I was wondering, like, what are they hiding? What are they hiding? Okay, and their purpose for their continuous attack, consistent attack, the way they're attacking me with the, you know, like the foulness. Like every time I do something positive, which could be anything that's positive for me, is a danger for them, because it means that I'm growing more in the confidence. So they start to attack me, and the reason why they're attacking me is because if I find this information out, I'll be able to use it against them. And what it is that they've been molested. They've molested their children. They've molested their children, and they molest children performing rituals. They use their children to perform rituals. My next door neighbour, he's complicit. So how they're using him is that he's responsible because they have something over his head that they all have. It's all over each other's heads. So they're working to protect themselves. Okay, to protect the secret from coming out. The secret from coming out is that they have molested their children, and they molest children sexually. And I believe that they mainly target boys, young children who are probably old enough to speak and say something, which could be how the information is got out. Somebody has this video. There's a videotape recording of maybe one of the rituals they performed. There's a videotape. Somebody has this tape, and they've made a copy, and they've circulated this tape. Maybe circulated this tape, and I'm going to speak openly and frank about this, because as I was going through awakening stages, 2018, I would think about like how my mind, you know, I started to feel, maybe did I question my moral? I started to question my morals on life. Like, how am I suddenly becoming a jealous person, for instance? How come I'm feeling threatened by people. I'm feeling threatened by people out of nowhere. So that was one change that came into my life. I would feel threatened. Like, how am I ever going to? I'd feel threatened. Like becoming a sense of insecurity, and so those emotions, like, I really battled with them for a while, because they came out of nowhere, and they really affected me, because I didn't plan. They started to affect me, the emotions, this insecurity. Then the second thing was kind of like racism. Not racism, more of like, I think it's connected to insecurity, but it was I won't be able to explain it, but I would feel threatened. I wouldn't, if I see couples, like, say if I see an interracial couple, then there'll be a staring inside me. I don't know why, but it would affect me. It would affect me for some reason, because maybe that I'll be jealous of the person, like, or if they have a girlfriend. I can't explain it, because it would affect me for some reason, and it would trigger me. Maybe I think it would trigger me. That's the word. It would trigger me somehow, because I really felt isolated, and I felt rejected by the society, and we live in an interracial society, so maybe that's what it was. So these feelings were starting to grow inside me out of nowhere. The second thing was about children, like for instance, I would be on a bus, I just don't want to be X-rated, I'm speaking openly, but I don't want to be, okay, I'll be on a bus, and sometimes I would see like school children, school age, on the school bus, and they would get on, and then I would look, but the look would be, I would wonder to myself, like, why did I look at this person like that, like, or why did I look like this? And then now I understand. Okay, I know that basically these are the feelings that they were coming from an outside source. The outside source was implanting these thoughts into my mind. So what their plan was to get me to believe or become sensitized to seeing underage people, underage girls, basically, to become sensitized and become even aroused. But those things never happened. But it was in the mind that I could feel an outside source. This was I was wondering what's going on. But since this mind invasion has come to light, where people that they're using my energetic field to implant thoughts and to perform mind control through whatever means they do it. It's now the pieces of the puzzle to fit the pieces of the puzzle is that they were implanting thoughts like Inception. So that in Inception they plant ideas, suggestions, and this is how they were going about it. So they were transferring their habits slowly, part by part, i.e. smoking cannabis. Smoking cannabis is like, because every time I have like an allergy. Every time, this is the crazy thing, every time I smoke cannabis, I have like a mild psychosis. But yet, I would keep doing it. So then this is what made me know that I was under this MK Ultra mind control, that it wasn't out of desire. It was a synthetic desire. Because each time I would do it, I would have a horrible experience. It wouldn't be pleasant, but I would continue doing it. So this was coming from the outside. So I was self-harming, and it was known to myself that I'm not doing this for pleasure. I'm doing this for self-harm. And so now, since finding out that these Cobra members, what they do, they implant thoughts into people and also drive people to suicide. And I will put this on record. Possibly Shannon could have been a victim of one of their operations, because we know the same people. And she passed away she passed away from an overdose. And I remember one of I think maybe it was one of her friends, or one of our friends, mutual friends, Jason was speaking to her, and I think she said she probably said something like, you know, Jason's popped up twice in my mind. Like, even, okay, first thing is she told him that like her will to live, she'd kind of lost her will to go on. I couldn't remember the words exactly, but she kind of was phrasing that she wasn't really that bothered about life anymore, and these are the sort of feelings that we get when people do mind control and perform these dark magic thrown at you, is that you kind of start to feel like you're losing the will to live, because what they're doing is they're extracting your will, they're stealing your will, from your body. They're stealing your will, so then they're draining the will from you, and then you the person feels like they can't do anything. They're not really bothered to do anything. They do it very slowly, very slow, deliberate. And when this conversation was happening, they were speaking about it, and then after, before she passed away, the week before, we for some reason God put me in a place where she was, and even at her dad's house. Like, normally at that time of the year, 2018, there was a lot going on. There was a dark cloud around that time, and God took me to see her by a chance, because we was in the same place and she happened to be there, and thank God I did go, because that was the last time that I would ever see her, and even that was the most probably time we've ever spent together, and it was the last time also. And that's why I believe, I believe that she was a victim of this Coven group, because we know the same people, and the only shocking thing is that they would do that to her. I know they would do it to me, but I'm shocked that they would do that to her. I'm very shocked they'd do that to her. And I can remember the first time I saw her to the very last time I saw her, and how much they had taken from her. They're taking so much from her. It was unnatural for somebody that intelligent to just lose so much. Something doesn't make sense, and so that's what they do. They force their habits. They take your good positive, your light. They take your light and replace it with their darkness, without you knowing. You believe that it's yourself. You believe that I can't be. You believe that you're lacking the motivation, because you lack motivation. But behind closed doors, somebody is stealing your will. And God spoke through Jason that time when the conversation happened, and Shannon said to him that, along the lines of, I think it was a Facebook post or something, like he wrote something, he said, good luck with your endeavours, like, I remember the word he said, that good luck with your he said, good luck with your endeavours, your future endeavours, whatever you're doing, like, words of encouragement. It's very shocking. They'll do that to her. However, this has a lot of their hallmarks. It has their fingerprints all over it. It has their fingerprints all over it. Back to the thing. So this is how it connects. They perform mind control. So what they do is that they amplify a person's fears. They extract the light, take the willpower. The willpower is what keeps them going. They take the willpower away, and then they amplify their fears. So a person is only going to experience their fears every day. Every day they're going to confront a fear. They're going to confront their fears every day, every other hour, every other 30 minutes. There's not an hour that will go by without the person confronting their fears. This is how they do it. They amplify a person's fears, so then the person begins to self-medicate. Harming themselves. The return is they're harming themselves by medicating that way. However, they got to numb themselves from this fear. That's how they do it. And on top of that, on top of amplifying a person's dark side, their own demons, their own demons, what they will do is they will also pass on their dark side to the person. So now the person is battling twice as hard, twice as difficult. Now that they've got the person will try to throw their habits, but it's very subtle because they don't want to alarm the person. Like, how can I just do it overnight? It's very subtle how they do this. So all of a sudden a person would begin to start experiencing, pick up a bad habit on top of whatever they may struggle with. That is how they do it. So these habits these are real habits that they don't make them up. These are real habits that are contained within that person. These are their demons. So what they do is that they add to the person's demons with their ones, their own. So if a person in this case will start thinking about molestation, is because the molestation is something that they engage in, actively engaging. It's a part of their. It's a part of they're into thrill seeking. They can't live without it. So the more out there, is it, what's the word? The more they like to do, the more shocking things that they like to do. This is how it is, and yeah, they like to do the most shocking things. Anyway, I'm gonna pause this video, come back with another thought just to wrap this up.